Welcome to another edition of Florida Newsmakers. I'm Tremel Gomes with our very special guest, Representative Matt Gaetz, the chairman of the House Criminal Justice Subcommittee. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, let's get right to it. There's rapid movement to overhaul the state's sexual predator laws with the hopes of making it the toughest in the nation. Tell us about that.
Well, Tremel, in Florida, as some recent press has shown us, we seem to attract our fair share of weirdos. And it's my view that when we catch them, they shouldn't be allowed to be back out wandering the streets and in our neighborhoods. That's why we will propose legislation this year that I'm very optimistic will pass. One of the marquee pieces of that legislation is that if someone rapes or sexually assaults a child in our state, they'll face a mandatory minimum state prison sanction of 50 years. Because by the time they get out, I don't want them in a position where they can never hurt anybody again.
We've seen some egregious cases like the one in Jacksonville with Cherish Periwinkle, the 8-year-old. Is this a part of, what's driving this push to see some rapid movement?
Well, the Cherish Periwinkle case was a dramatic case in bureaucratic failure. We had someone in our possession who we knew was dangerous and who we knew would harm someone else. But because we had an odd referral system to get that offender into our sexually violent predator program, they were released. And unfortunately, a little girl is not around anymore as a result. And so we're going to close those loopholes and make it where law enforcement agencies, state attorneys, when they find someone that they've identified as a potential sexually violent predator, they can directly refer those individuals to the Department of Children and Families for a thorough psychological analysis and screening. At that screening, we're going to put at the table law enforcement and victims advocates to make sure that we have a wide net out there to catch these worst predators among us.
A few weeks out before the legislative session starts, what are some of your top priorities going in?
Well, as the chairman of the Criminal Justice Subcommittee, I've seen too many examples also where people who torture and abuse animals are just sent away with a slap on the wrist or probation. And we know from psychological research that people who are sociopaths with regard to animals then ultimately end up hurting humans and engaging in other improper conduct. And so I'm going to propose this year a 2.5-year mandatory minimum state prison sentence for those who commit the worst animal cruelty crimes.
You've stunned your supporters with the support of a particular strand of medical marijuana. What brought about this change of heart?
Well, in Colorado, there's some innovative growers that developed a strain of marijuana that has no psychoactive effect. It can't get anybody high. But what it can do is dramatically reduce the number of seizures that children have with intractable epilepsy. In this country, you don't meet too many people with intractable epilepsy in their 20s because it's just a question with these children of which seizure will kill them. But we've seen cases in Colorado where children went from catatonic states where they were having 200 seizures a day. They were able to take this strain of marijuana and subsequently had maybe one seizure a month. I mean, at 5 and 6 years old, children were able to speak for the first time, meet their parents, express emotions. We have so many parents in our state that that help out their children with special needs, and they want to do anything they can for their kids. And as a limited government conservative, I don't want the government standing between parents and the care that they need for their children.
You're going as far as drafting legislation to get this approved, this particular strand that's called Charlotte's Web approved. But what do you say to those who are saying, why not approve the ballot initiative as well, or let that go? And there's a lot of opposition on that front.
Yeah, the ballot initiative that has been bankrolled by a personal injury lawyer in Orlando, I think would put a dispensary on every corner, and it would allow anybody to claim high anxiety and wander into their podiatrist's office and get a prescription for marijuana. And I think there are many that are rightfully concerned about the impact that a dispensary in every neighborhood would have on the social fabric of our state. But we can't just have a bumper sticker approach to cannabis. I mean, we have to be competent enough to thoroughly evaluate where there is benefit, where there is potential for abuse. I don't think that children with Dravet syndrome and epilepsy are going to use marijuana as a gateway drug. I don't think their parents are going to become drug dealers. I think that these are people that truly need care, and we can apply the principles of my party, the Republican Party, of limited government and empowered consumers. We can apply those principles and help people access needed care.
And that group pushing that ballot initiative is the People United for the Medical Use of Marijuana. One final question. What do you say to Christian conservatives who are saying that approving any particular kind of medical marijuana will lead to a full-out legalization? How do you ease those concerns?
Love and compassion are Christian values. And at my Baptist church in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, I don't know too many parishioners who want to see children suffer more. Who want to see a child have 200 seizures a day when they could have only one a month. Those aren't Christian values. Christians believe in compassion and care, and so I think we just have to get past some of the fear with the word marijuana and get to where we can appropriately tailor its application, where we don't have abuse, but where we can really do good for people who haven't chosen to have disabilities. Few people choose to be the parent of a special needs child, but those parents would do anything for their kids, and help needs to be on the way.
Well, Chairman Matt Gaetz, thank you so much for joining us today. And to our viewers, we'll catch you next time.